You're listening to The Other 50%, a herstory of Hollywood. I'm Julie Harris Walker. This is the podcast where I talk to successful women in entertainment and hear their stories. Our presenting sponsor continues to be the entertainment payroll company Extreme Reach. They have the most comprehensive suite of tools and services to support all areas of media and content creation, from tax incentive support to accounting software and payroll services. If you are creating content, you need them. Call them and tell them I sent you. Today I got to speak with Allie Boettger. Allie is a sound mixer, and I don't mean the kind of sound mixer who works on a stage, although she can do that too. Allie is the kind of sound mixer that goes on the amazing race, goes to Alaska in winter, hikes to the top of a mountain, rappels down the side of it. She is a super badass, and she is quite the storyteller, so this episode was really fun. And she taught me how to wrap my own audio cable, which I'd been doing wrong for 3 years, but I'm happy to report I now take the time to do it correctly every time. You can find us at theother50%.com for added features, photos, show notes, and the merchandise. And you can also listen on Apple Podcasts and all the podcast places. All right, here's my conversation with Allie. Have a listen. What do you do?
I'm a sound mixer by trade. My specialty is field recording for television and like docu-follow style.
Like unscripted?
Stuff. Unscripted, yeah.
That actually I would think would be harder than on stage.
Unscripted is an animal, and I absolutely love it. Like, especially with sound, you're dealing with so many external factors that make every day completely different, and that's why I love it. I love being in the field.
Like, how does it work? Are you running around with the equipment and someone else has a boom mic? Like, just paint a picture for us. What is that like?
So the unscripted sound person is basically wearing all of their equipment at once.
Just wearing it?
Yes. So I wear a harness that looks kind of like a climbing harness that goes over my shoulders and around my waist. And it has a sets of carabiners on it, and the carabiners clip into a bag. Inside the bag is a digital recorder and a wireless system. Wireless is sending from a transmitter, right? The microphone on your cast or whatever, to my bag. And then I'll have transmitters too, so I can send sound wirelessly to a camera or maybe to a producer to monitor, that kind of thing. And then I'm also physically holding the boom. And, when the situations call for it, you're both mixing wires, sending a feed, and booming talent all at the same time. It's
bananas.
It's a lot, but I'll tell you the funniest thing about sound is because so many people actually don't really understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
They just, as long as it's there, it's good, which is cool. DPs can have all of the drama, and I like sound. Is just make it
like,
good.
Are you ever like
under the radar?
just wait for the nuance and the whatever, and people are like whatever as long as we can hear it?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just like when something's up, it has to be translated, from sound language to like layman's terms. So it's just
what do you mean?
Like if you're dealing with a radio interference on a particular frequency and you need to stop the scene maybe and re-coordinate your frequencies, it might just be easier to say, can I have a second to make an adjustment? Nobody wants to know that you're scanning for frequencies and you're taking radio interference on your... nobody wants to know. That's all I meant.
That is awesome.
Like, people are like, stop explaining things to me. I don't...
We don't understand how it works. Just make it happen.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Like, you are looking at my audio knowledge.
Oh, I love it.
I have one piece of equipment. I have 2 mics. I imagine that you know a lot more about things, especially if you're talking about interfering with radio frequencies. How did you get into this in the first place? How did you know you wanted to do it?
Well, when I graduated from Washington University in St. Louis, it was with a film and television degree. But I could write 6-10-page papers about sound or about film or scoring, but my actual hands-on experience wasn't nearly as extensive. So I worked all summer. I was bartending, after I graduated, and made some cash. And if you remember, I had a friend on MySpace who posted oh, my buddy's going out of town for 30 days, going on a backpacking trip to Europe, looking for a subletter in Sherman Oaks. And I had to Google it. I didn't know what
Where's
Sherman
that?
Oaks was, but then I found out that was Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I was like, gosh, this was maybe a Wednesday, and I had a one-way ticket to LA with 2 bags on a Friday.
Had you thought before that you were
No.
going to move to LA?
No. I thought, I'm from the Midwest. I thought I would be working for Oprah or something when I graduated.
Well, sure.
Like move to Chicago and like work for Oprah. But it just...
Little did you know Oprah was moving to LA.
I didn't know, yeah. That's so true. When she did OWN Network, that wasn't... Well, I think they have an office.
They closed it a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
They moved here.
Oh, yeah. Huh. See? No, I didn't know. So it was like that. And I just decided it was just like an opportunity. Like, I like to give myself goals. I'm an athlete. I'm very competitive. And I was just like, well, okay, 30 days. Like, it has a limit, you know? I'll just go. And I had finished college and I had stuff going on in my family, and it was just like that time where I'm just gonna go.
Did you have a job?
No.
Okay.
No, I just thought if I go and I give myself 30 days, I can maybe figure something out, make something happen. This person lives in Sherman Oaks. I mean, maybe things happen there. I don't know. I didn't know anything, but I didn't care.
That is where it happens, by the way.
Ignorance was bliss. It was just exciting. That's all it was. And
when I first moved here, I also moved to Sherman Oaks.
Oh,
that's the gateway town.
It's a place. It's a place to be. So I landed. I go to this place, and the guy told me like that there was somebody else subletting the other room, but like I never saw them.
What?
Like, cause the roommates went on a 30-day backpacking trip. So both rooms in the apartment were available for sublet.
Oh, okay.
So I subletted one, and then his roommate subletted the other to someone else. I don't know.
Someone who you never saw?
No, I never saw. So I just landed, I got settled in, nobody's there. I'm sitting on the couch and, just like acclimating. I don't know, it's very hot. And this like 240 pound, or 250 pound, like fully tatted dude, like darkens the doorway and like looks at me and is like, hey. And I'm like, oh, hello. What are you,
What's going on?
What's going on? And so we start BSing, and it turns out that he is a tech supervisor, and he lives 2 hours outside LA and is not about the commute for this new show that he's starting the next day.
Wait, is he the other subletter?
The other subletter.
Okay.
And so we BS. He's like, well, yeah, I'm just staying here because I'm starting a show tomorrow. I'm a tech supervisor on a reality show, and I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. This is so crazy. I swear to God, we talked for 30 minutes. I took a shower, brushed my teeth. When I went to bed that night, I had a map to crew parking and a call time. I was a PA on the Flavor of Love show.
Oh my God, was that the Flavor Flav show?
Flavor Flav. Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And he was really straight up about it. He's like, I don't vouch for people. I don't know you. Like, I'm just giving you a phone number. Like,
you better make it happen.
Make it happen for yourself, because you don't have. I'm not like
this.
that. I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But I think they're looking for people. Like, I'll give you a phone number.
Wow.
It was wild.
Amazing.
It was wild. And so like I call my mom and dad. I'm like, send the car. I got a job.
What do you mean, send the car? Did they put the car on a train?
Oh, it was my last $800. So I had shipped the old Chevy Lumina, to Sherman Oaks. And that was it. I worked on Flavor Flav for a month, like the very day, that day. And
that is crazy.
Yeah, and he's a tech soup, and his best friend on the crew was a sound soup. And you know how it is when you're a PA, you're just driving crews around, and I was just like, this is the freaking life. Like they were talking about going to the Caribbean on the Bachelor show, and they were talking about going, to remember all these of love shows, would do like a big trip at the end, and they'd go to France or something crazy.
Right, stop whispering though. We're recording here.
It was just crazy. It was so wild to me. And so, that week I went to Verizon and I got one of those flip phones that has GPS because I wanted to be a good PA. And
was this post Thomas Guide, but maybe pre-smartphones? Give us a time frame here.
This was 2007.
Okay.
So coordinators were still printing off Google Maps, but people had just
like the Sidekick had just become a thing, and like those flip phones just became a thing, where we finally had all the letters instead of pressing the 3 buttons like a Nokia phone. It was right at that time.
Okay, so no Thomas Guy.
No. So it was right at that time. So that was it. That was it. I just had a really good rapport. I had a good rapport with him, but I ended up having a good rapport with this sound soup as well. He and I just really hit it off, and he was like explaining signal flow to me, and I was like, wait, so it's like this and this and this and this, and he's like, yeah, that's signal flow, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. And so they would let me cut their moleskin, it's an adhesive we use on the microphones a lot of times. They would let me change the batteries in their mixers. Like, they would let me just do little menial things as make me feel like a sound assistant when I was PAing, and you were so thrilled. And that was it. Yeah, I was absolutely thrilled. I found something that I was passionate about, and I found something that I was good at, and I found a team of people who saw that in me and wanted to lift me up. And that was right when our gear, it's an equipment rental, like a gear rental company here in LA, like they had just opened a shop the size of this kitchen, teeny tiny. And I worked at the shop, and I did QC and L&D, and I built bags, and I was an assistant in the field, and we built shows, and I crawled around in attics, running XLR and BNC or whatever, RG8 cable, like hundreds and hundreds of feet of RG8, and that was it. And 9 months later, I was mixing my first job, field mixing. Yeah.
That is crazy. Now I have to ask you, has your whole life, have you been in the flow like this, where things just happen?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because I was a really driven person in school, and I was a college athlete at WashU, so swimming was my life. And then it was cool to be a film major because I could just swim all day, and then all the biology students would go to lab for 3 hours.
They had a different life.
And I would go to lab for 3 hours, and it was a screening of Citizen Kane. Yeah. So a little different, but a manageable major for being a college athlete.
Yeah.
But I had to find my path in sound at a very distinct Y in the road, because I have a history of drug and alcohol abuse, and especially as an addict, it's hard to live in this town and have a career, and that was the Y, and I chose wisely, or it chose me. And my very first sound job, I was 2 weeks sober. And that was it. I was like, okay, it's going to be one or the other. It's going to be one or the other. And
when you just moved here, or your first mixing job?
It was like my first working as a sound assistant, as an A2.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you made the right choice.
Yeah. That was over 10 years ago at this point. So, and I'm still going strong.
Amazing. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about that first sound mixing job you got 9 months into the business. How does that happen?
That was, so I had been working at our gear, and it was a digital job. It was going to be on I think it was Cosmopolitan or a magazine. I had an integration, some type of integration with herbal essences. And so we were shooting some people who had they were getting a spa day or something with all these herbal essences products. And it was very, I was very stressed, and I had built all of the bags for the show. It was going to be 3 cameras and 3 audio, so that the bag I described. So it's 3 sound bags and a wireless system. We were doing, I think it was Block 19 and Block 21. I built the bags with Block 20s or something, and I was using Block 21 transmitters. I was like, oh my god! And then I run back to the shop, and I swap to the receivers, and all was not lost. But that basically, it's I had a transmitter
They weren't going to talk to each
wasn't going
other.
to talk to the receiver. Yeah.
Okay, so you make that mistake once, I imagine.
Once and never ever again. Yeah. But that was my first job. And the two other mixers were, salty old sound guys, and they're like, who is this 24-year-old woman telling me what to do? Like, get the fuck out of here. But
salty old sound guys.
Oh, sound people can't be
we're going
salty.
to talk about that.
Oh, okay. We have a terrible stereotype. And that was that, and it went really well, and everything from then on has just been up.
You've just been going.
Yeah, finding my genre, finding my people, finding my happy place.
Do you work with the same team a lot?
No. I've that was where I got in. Was more like in a house reality, like this of love wave that was taking over VH1 and MTV and the Bachelor's going bananas, and that I rode that wave in the beginning of my career, and that introduced me to a whole life outside of LA of location recording. And so that's when I fell in love with these really crazy shows like Love in the Wild and which was so fun, and Running Wild with Bear Grylls, and Finding Bigfoot, and shows where I was just like running around in the woods or in the jungle and dealing with moisture and salt water and high winds and environmental factors that make the sound recordist job much more
really
challenging.
Hard. How do you even, I'm thinking of Bachelor in Paradise where they're all jumping in the ocean with their mic packs on. Is there special gear to make that all okay?
There's special gear. There is there's all kinds of arts and crafts, sneaky tricks of the trade that we do to protect the equipment and ensure good sound quality as well. And every single one is a learning experience.
You have to be like MacGyver when you're out there.
It's so fun. Yeah.
Did you ever do Naked and Afraid?
I interviewed for it, but the schedules never worked out. But I am a union sound mixer, and I would do that show if they called. I'm sure. I know the sound soup.
You just duct taping
runs
to those people.
Oh yeah, it's not. One of the things that I love to do in sound and like kind of marry my creativity with my technical knowledge is I make necklace microphones, and that's what they utilize on that show. I didn't make them, but that's how
I have seen those on Bachelor in Paradise. All the men are wearing them mic necklaces.
So there was a big show on ABC this summer called Castaway, and you'll see everyone's wearing necklaces on that show, and I made all of those.
That is bad.
So on Naked and Afraid, the microphone's hidden in the necklace. But I love making those. What
do you make them out of? Or is that a trade secret?
Oh, I don't mind telling. I make it out of paracord usually. It's quiet. It's resistant to UV, discoloration and that kind of thing. Stays malleable, with salt water or fresh
water. They look
water.
like necklaces.
It looks like,
like they're wearing puka shells or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, and you also work on The Amazing Race. I know you can't tell me anything or you have to kill me.
I love working on The Amazing Race.
That must be amazing because you're traveling everywhere with everybody?
Yeah, so there are crews designated each episode to each team.
Okay.
So you are a unit. There are 2 people on camera and there are 2 people off camera. The sound person and the camera person.
So you're going everywhere they're going.
It's the 4 of us. Yep. Everywhere. They get in a taxi. We get in a taxi. We all squeeze in. They get in a tuk-tuk. We squeeze into the tuk-tuk. Everything we do together.
Scoot over.
Yeah.
We're getting in.
Yeah. And it is just a mad dash. It's absolutely wild. I have 3.
That is crazy.
Credit cards, 3 cell phones, 3, sound bag, batteries. The sound person carries everything. I do location releases, appearance releases. Obviously, I'm recording. I carry all the batteries. It is so exciting. It's really fun.
But it's really fun. And I assume you talk to the contestants, but you can't help them in any way.
Absolutely not.
So
if they're running in the wrong
way, we're going with you.
Then I am running. I find the comedy in it, and it's funny when people ask me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, how far do you run in an episode or in a leg of the race?" It's funny. I just say, you know what? Technically, if I were looking at a map, I might not run very far. But I definitely went back and forth on the same bridge 8 times while we were looking for a clue. So you don't actually have to go extremely
far, but you just run so much.
You're running the whole time.
The whole entire time. Yeah, we thought the clue was on this side of the bridge, and then we run over the bridge and look for it on this side. And it's like, no, it's on the other side of the bridge, and we run back over the bridge.
And you have to stay out of the
over
camera.
and over again. Yeah.
That is bananas. How many seasons have you done?
This coming season will be my third time all the way around the world from start to finish.
Oh my God, that's so great.
So
fun.
Because as you drop teams, obviously fewer crews following. So you sometimes people get shuffled around a little bit with how organizing the coverage. But I stay the whole time.
Oh, I was going to ask. So you stay the whole time.
So I don't get eliminated just because my team got eliminated.
Wow, good.
Yeah.
All right, now tell me what it has been like being a woman in the salty old sound guy field.
My experience has been extremely positive for the most part. There's a couple of those, salty old sound guys out there who aren't too keen on working with females, but it's definitely the exception and not the rule. Every job that I've had that has changed my life, changed my career, has because of the nature of what a minority women are in the field. All those jobs were with a majority of men, or an opportunity that I got working with men in this field. And so I absolutely adore women in this field who have pioneered the way to make it easier for me to break in. Like my girlfriend Christina Chin, she is a veteran and who has done everything everything I wanted to do in sound has already done. I admire her a lot. But in my experience, from the second that I came to LA and met that sound soup on Flavor of Love, it's been all about experience and drive to succeed. And you're on set 13 hours a day together. So a lot of it has to do with attitude and getting along, and not gender. And that has been my experience for the most part. And and I would say in unscripted, I think it's a little easier.
How come?
Because I think there's just fewer people who fill that salty old sound guy stereotype. It's just more accepting.
Yeah.
I think. But
actually, it would make
I say that having not done tons of scripted stuff, but just.
All right, we'll take a survey, see what people say.
Yeah.
Do you find, though, that there are very few women doing what you're doing, or are there more and more?
I feel like as I go, there's more, but not some skyrocketing number. There's still just a handful of us.
Yeah, do you know the other 4 women who do this job?
Yes. We all know each other and we all call each other, especially my particular genre that I love to do is I get a call that's, hey, I heard you would sleep in a tent. No, why do I always get these calls where I would sleep in a tent? But I do love
job qualification.
Being on location and being in kind of remote, very challenging situations. So we all look out for each other in that regard. I know who would be perfect for that job, call Allie, or, I know somebody who would be perfect for that job, call my friend Lindsay.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And we were talking before we turned it on that you went and did Alaskan Bush People and then ended up buying a house in Hoona, Alaska? In September of 2014, I booked this job called Alaskan Bush People. And it was... I had my whole career always wanted to go to Alaska. Always wanted to shoot in Alaska. There was a big wave at that time. It was there were
Gold
tons of
Rush.
Alaska jobs.
Yeah, Gold Rush was really big. That one with the what's the one with the seaplanes? That was doing well.
And Deadliest Catch.
Deadliest Catch was huge. And
the one with the trucks driving across the ice.
Oh, Ice Road Truckers. Yeah.
Ice Road Truckers. Yeah.
So there were
Alaska was hot.
There were all kinds of gigs up there. Yeah. So I was just waiting for my time. The phone was gonna ring, and there it was. And so I went up there in September and did not leave until December.
Okay.
It was a long run.
Yeah.
And I absolutely fell in love with Southeast Alaska I would take a 40-minute boat ride from our little fishing village out to where the family, the on-camera family, where their homestead was. Orcas would swim up beside us in our boat. We actually, Discovery did a BTS special just on what it's like to be on the crew, and they had footage of us being in this absolutely horrific squall. Like, we all thought, everybody in the boat thought they were going to die. It's absolutely gnarly, but gnarly in the most like beautiful, exciting way. Yeah. And so when the show wrapped, I couldn't leave. I absolutely could not leave. It was nuts. So I went there in September. We took a break for the holiday and went back, and we didn't wrap until like March of the next year.
So you did a whole winter.
The whole time. Yeah.
And
which was bananas because you only have like 4 hours of daylight.
And you thought, this is it. This
is it. Yeah. So I'm back down to the lower 48. So my car.
See, now you call it the lower 48. You're in Alaska now.
Absolutely. That's what we call everything down here. And that was it. Moved back up there so I could call it my home too. I just felt so at home there, and it certainly helps that I met my boyfriend there too. So.
Was he on the crew, or is he Native Alaskan?
He's born and raised in Hoona, Alaska. And
so what, did you meet him at the diner? How'd you meet him?
No, he started working on set. Like, we were, these LA, New York types stumbling around in the woods. Yeah, thank God someone from town who was a local
with a gun.
You
to
needed
keep the
a
bears
local.
Away.
Oh, we definitely. Yeah, that's a whole thing on its own.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many bears on set. There's the densest population of brown bears in the entire world is on this particular island.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which because you've been there.
I've been there.
So we met on set when he started working on the show.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's so great. So does he still live up there while you travel around? Yeah, let's just dig into your whole personal life.
No, actually he
or is he in the business now?
He's in the business. He did not just help us around the woods. Like, he absolutely guided the production to where it is now, and he's a co-executive producer of the show. Yeah.
Wow.
He's incredible. I don't know. I don't know how
That's
he
amazing.
does it. Yeah.
So is he still doing that show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now. Right
Amazing.
this minute. Yeah, he is. He's pretty amazing.
So you're like, okay, I'm going to go around the world with Amazing Race. I'll see you in a few months.
Yeah, and that's what he loves about me, and that's very special about our relationship is that is my nature. That is my nature, to be moving and to spread my wings, and that's what he loves about me. So he just says, "Be safe. I'll see you when you get." Yeah, so it's a good vibe. Yeah, it's a really good vibe.
Nice. That's so cool. Tell me, what advice do you have for women trying to get in, just starting out?
Advice that I would give women trying to get started in sound is, I got a thick skin really early because nothing about sound is something that you were born knowing. You have to learn, and you have to learn in the field. Nobody could describe a certain sound to me that is like crossing power on a sound line, or knowing the difference between a hiss or a buzz, or knowing the difference between RF interference or clothing noise, or knowing of there's nothing intuitive about that. The only way you know is by listening, by being in the field and learning. So it's very, very intimidating to ask questions and to not know.
Yeah.
And so if I could give anybody advice, I would just tell them to get their hands on gear and use it and ask questions, and of somebody you trust, of somebody you know who and I'm available to anyone. I'm in all the groups. I'm in all the sound groups. Anybody.
I'm gonna call you.
Yeah. Because that's how you figure it all out. It's what I started doing, and it's what I still love about this job. Is it's okay to not know. You just have to try to figure it out. Yeah. and you learn and you get better by doing.
I had there's another podcast I'm producing, and we had these tracks, and it was fine for 5 minutes, and then it would just go bananas, and the track looked like this for 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then it would be fine, and then it would be crazy. And I was like, there's something wrong with the equipment.
Yeah.
And then someone was like, is it under an air conditioning vent? I'm like, yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
And the cycle was like exactly the minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Like sound people, we always have like a funny joke about when, especially if you're shooting in like a loud restaurant or doing like a scene here at the kitchen table and the refrigerator is running. So you turn all that stuff off, right? You turn off the air conditioner, you turn off the refrigerator. And so it's like every person has their own trick, but it's like, if I put my car keys in the refrigerator, I can't leave set.
Till I turn it back on?
Until I remember to turn back. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was on a, we did like it was a comedy shoot. Kind of like a Funny or Die vibe. And we were, it's a working bar. So we were shooting from, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. or something at a restaurant. And I turned off every single refrigerator. And like, there's the anxiety of, making sure you're recording everything properly. And then that anxiety is like, wait, I have to turn everything back on. How am I going to remind myself when I'm so tired at 5 a.m. or everything in this restaurant is ruined?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I feel your pain. It's, yeah.
Oh, I've had times where I forget to turn on the recorder until we've already talked for half an hour.
Oh, no.
The worst.
Yeah.
You'd think I would make that mistake once, but I made it about 3 times.
It happens.
What do you make of the state of women in the industry at large right now, in this crazy year we've had?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's been crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah. You'll note I didn't say how do you solve it. I just said
No,
what do you make of it?
I feel kind of bad because I think it's just the beginning.
You mean the beginning of like peeling the onion of problems, or the beginning of...
Yeah, like that onion has a lot of layers. Like this isn't a problem that just happened. And like, do you know what I'm saying?
It's not a one symptom problem that's going to go away in a minute.
Yeah. I've just been really, really lucky that for, just the majority of my experience, like the men I work with don't look at my gender too much, where I've been driven away from my field of choice or harassed or abused in a way that I didn't feel safe in my own workplace.
Have you felt obstacles?
Yeah, I've had serious obstacles, like outside of sound too. Like, I think because I'm a woman or a young woman, or because I don't really fall into that stereotype of, well, if you want to sound competent or confident, you have to be a bitch or bitchy. And I'm like, honey, not vinegar. I think that being nice and like collaborating and like, I think that's the way to get things done. That's what I love about unscripted, so it's really hard when someone like looks at you and thinks that you don't know what you're talking about, or
just dismisses you.
Just to be dismissed, or to be made to feel like I don't know what I'm talking about when I do, because people can judge you just how you look. I mean, how am I supposed to look? I don't know. I don't, like, how am I supposed to look so that I look like I know what I'm talking about?
Weird, right?
I don't.
A weird thing to have to think about.
That's not fair.
Now, have you had to adjust how you talk to people? Because you present like very competent and confident and self-assured. Like, I can't imagine that you'd be like, well, let me figure out how to say this so that you can hear me. Are you doing that?
Wait, will you say that again?
Are you putting a lot of thought into how do I have to talk to somebody in a way that they can hear me that wouldn't be just your natural style?
Oh, no, not anymore. I used to, earlier on in my career, I did think that I had to edit myself in a way that I could somehow influence how I was perceived by a producer, by a DP, maybe by another sound person, certainly by an executive, because I, inside, was very concerned about how I was perceived. I already know that they don't think I know anything because they're just looking at me because I'm a young woman and I'm just like, completely incompetent. No, that never works.
So what changed?
Well, you just get more confident. The more experience I got in the field, the more experience you have on set. It's just time. Mm-hmm. And I can confidently say now I'm at a point in my career where absolutely what you see is what you get. And you know what? It's worked out really well. I get good feedback. I do enjoy working with a lot of the same people over and over again. What you get with me. That's all in a very good place. And now I don't have any hang-ups about. What? Before I leave for race, I like to get a really cute manicure, and I like to have a fun color on my nail polish, because that it's fun. That's my competitive side. You look good, you do good.
And you're not seeing another one for months.
Yeah, seriously. Just make sure I get gels so that they last. Or like on Alaskan Bush People, we have a lot of women on the crew, mm-hmm. and that's really fun. And we like to, put bling on our cameras and our sound equipment, and I probably in the past would have been very afraid of that. I denied my own femininity, mm-hmm. Femininity, because I thought masculinity or aggression or assertiveness was going to portray competence. And I don't know when we were taught that or why we were
just from birth.
Why?
Yeah.
But it's not the case. It's not the case. You can be kind of silly or have your feminine side or just be have both sides.
We can value femininity.
Yeah. That doesn't have anything to do with being a good, or not have anything to do with, but it's you can still be a competent department head, a manager of people or gear or a business, and
have blue fingernails.
and we'll have blue fingernails. Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
why not? Why not? I don't understand. It's quite silly.
It is. It's ridiculous. Have you had mentors?
Oh yes, absolutely. In both in sound, I have had mentors both in sound and just in television. Mm-hmm. I would say two women showrunners who I have worked with and really, really admire, who are that example of leadership, femininity, and no nonsense. Mm-hmm. Because that's another thing women are sometimes not allowed to do as much as guys are, is just say things how it is.
Be direct.
Be direct, yeah. And anyway, so her name is Sheila McCormick, mm-hmm. and she is just a badass, absolute badass. We met in Alaska, and she does a lot of Alaska shows, and she has a fierceness, but it's passionate fierceness. Mm-hmm. She will fiercely love you, but it's a fierceness, and it's very inspiring. And there's another showrunner, her name's Molly Mayock, who is an absolute legend. And she, like I said, she leads with love, and she leads with kindness, and she leads with humor. She's very funny too. And she's a good example of you don't have to be bossy or aggressive to be a boss. Yeah. And then in sound, there are women who came before me in this field, in this crazy genre too that I do of remote location recording and stuff, who inspire me, and one of which, her name's Christina Chin, and she is absolutely amazing. And I might be the first female to do a lot of some of these crazier jobs that I've done, but I would not have gotten that job, I think, if women like Christina hadn't paved the way
That's great.
A little bit. Yeah, so yeah, she's awesome. And then the sound supervisor on The Amazing Race, his name is Jim Ursulak, and Jim saw potential in me when we worked on a job
like, in the remote jungles of the Dominican Republic or something like that. And it was a long time ago. And we just hit it off right away. We had not met before that job. And Jim champions me. Always, Jim is like somebody who doesn't settle. And so he encourages me to always be better and just be the best sound person I can be.
That's great.
So, yeah, he's awesome.
What is next for you? Well, you're getting on a plane to go do Amazing Race.
I'm getting on a plane today. The race is starting.
But I mean,
which is great.
Big picture. Are you doing this for the next 10 years? Do you have big goals? What?
Big picture for me is just continuing to grow my business. Seed Field Recording is my company. So I have gear, will travel. All my Pelican cases are bright yellow because I like to stand out and it makes everybody smile. Yeah. So next for me is to continue in sound.
Wait, are you renting equipment to other people too?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So I have my own sound equipment that I operate, but hey, if I'm on the road or doing something else, like, and I can rent my gear out to somebody else, like that's part of the business as well. And so continue with that. And even though I don't get to see them very much, family is really important to me. So
where are they?
Try and get. I'm an auntie.
Oh.
And my nephews live in Des Moines, Iowa.
Sweet. How old are your nephews?
9 and 10.
Great.
Yeah, they're really cute. But like, what's next in 10 years? What's really hard about freelance is the feast and famine and being your own advocate. I am my own employer. I am my own health insurer. Freelance is really, really hard, especially because I got into the field young. No one's going to take care of us. No one contributes to a 401k for me, and
right.
I don't have an employer who the beauty of it is I don't have an employer who gives me like vacation days, and so I take off whatever I want. I probably only work 9 months a year. But
now, have you got to a point where you know the next job is coming, so you can take time off and enjoy it, and not be freaking out about where's my next job?
I am at a point in my career where usually the phone rings enough that I can balance my time between working and not working, and I can be a little bit more selective with my jobs. That wasn't always the case, but it has been a learning experience with saving and budgeting and now owning my own equipment, negotiating, and I am not like a spreadsheet type of person, but you got to do it. And
how did you learn how to do that? How did you learn how you had to manage and budget your money to have this freelance life where you mainly work 9 months a year?
My mom has been my mommy. My mommy taught me. I'm really lucky that my dad is a savvy manager. He's no nonsense with that. But my mom is an accountant. Handy. And so I have a good influence in my life for when it comes to saving and managing my money. Because no one else will do it for me. And like knowing the difference between an I-9 and a W-2, and like nobody wants to know that stuff, but you just have
to know that stuff.
You just have to know that stuff. You have to advocate for yourself, and people are human. People make mistakes. If you're not looking at your pay stub and you're not aware of like what your hours were and what's being taken out, what state you worked in, and that kind of thing, then that's on you. You know.
Yeah. You have to own your life, own your career.
Yeah. So my mom, I'm 34. I've never done my taxes because my mom is a CPA. So my mom.
That is so handy.
It's really, really handy.
And you probably have to file taxes in 12 different states, I imagine.
Minimum. Yeah. I am a headache. So I'm lucky that my mom does my taxes because she's so nice.
That is great.
Yeah.
That's great. What did I not ask you about that I should have asked you about?
The physicality of the job. The job is really hard. So, like, especially with being, like I said, with being your own advocate and taking care of yourself and taking care of your gear, that kind of stuff. Like with
if I'm going to work as a professional field recordist, I have to stand on both legs, and I got to have both arms working, and I have to stand on my feet maybe for all 12 hours that I'm working.
You have to stay in shape.
It is extremely physical. My cases, a lot of times you go to the airport, those cases weigh over 50 pounds. It is an extremely physical job. So like health, nutrition, yoga, like physical therapy, acupuncture, like those are a side of this business, working in television, that I don't think people talk about enough.
You can't just drink Pepsi and eat.
You cannot just go to craft service and eat. No. And we're only getting older.
Yeah.
And
are you doing this job when you're 50?
I can't. I don't think I will. I don't think I can wear a bag when I'm 50. I take good care of myself. I'm a fit person, but
so you're going to need to plan. How do you transition and into what as you get older? Have you thought about that?
Yes, I have. When I was, in 2014, I went back to school. I did online school so I could be a certified holistic nutritionist. So I do that. I do that as well. And I have a website that I don't update enough, fitfreelance.com.
Yes.
And I
Just a little nugget we've uncovered.
Oh yeah. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to sustain themselves in this business, that as much as you love camera, as much as you love sound, or as much as you love producing, if you're just drinking coffee and getting 6 hours of sleep and eating craft service, you will burn out and you will not have the success that you wanted. And it's not because you weren't driven enough. It was because your body said, I cannot keep up with these ridiculous hours and this ridiculous the ridiculous demands on our bodies. It's not sustainable. It's not possible. I only mix, however many months a year, because I need that other time to relax, to rest, to recover, to take care of myself. It might look on paper like a sound person or a camera person makes all this money all the time, and it's not true. Because I cannot work 50 weeks out of the year and get 2 weeks vacation like someone who might work at a bank or maybe some type of corporate position. It's not physically possible.
Right.
So I can't. I don't know. I can't say it enough. Like that's a huge part of the job that has absolutely nothing to do with sound, or it has everything to do with it. You know what I mean?
Fitfreelance.com.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And we're only getting older.
All right, I see what you're doing later, and you're writing a book, and then you're maybe having a podcast or something.
Oh, that'd be fun. Oh my gosh, that would be fun.
Yeah. All right, good. What else?
With unscripted, a lot of times, sometimes like what's behind the camera is more exciting than what's on camera.
Well, we watch Unreal.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
It is really like that. Like I told you about the behind the scenes special that Discovery aired about working on Bush People. I've been on sinking boats. I've been in I did a show called Ultimate Expedition last year on YouTube. YouTube Red. It aired on YouTube Red this past January, February, March, somewhere around there. And we summited a 20,000 foot mountain in the Andes. People had altitude sickness. Somebody had pulmonary edema. There is shit going on that's behind the lens that you never see. Like, how do you think we get sound next to Bear Grylls when he's hanging off the side of a mountain? I'm on a rope too. I'm hanging right beside him. That's how it works.
Think about it. Like the people doing that crazy adventure, you're doing it with 50 pounds of equipment on. It's crazy.
Preach. Yeah, that is the story.
Okay, so if you want the life of adventure, this is the career.
It's the story behind the camera is you could write a book.
Okay, what's the craziest thing you've ever done? At work.
I would say one of the craziest things I've ever done at work. Doing on the side of a mountain, doing a 250 foot abseil, self belay, my boom on my back in my harness, like my mixer on the front of me, but I'm wearing a climbing harness with like clip below. Like I've been in those situations where that was kind of crazy, or like I did find myself inside a crevasse, like oh wait, this is kind of like I've been in some gnarly situations. Yeah, I was in a boat actually, coming back from an island off the coast of Panama in the dark, and you can't turn the lights on the boat. Number one, because you can't see what you're doing if you're driving. But also, there's fish in the water who are attracted to the lights, and they have scales like razors, so they will jump into the boat and really, really hurt you. And unfortunately, there were two boats. We can't see each other. We can't see where we're going. And it's 3:00 in the morning, and we very nearly collided with one another. Everything would have gone overboard. We're in the middle of the ocean. Like that was very scary too. I've had some close calls.
Oh my God. But you love it.
But I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm looking at you. You love it.
I absolutely love it. So, like, I only want to climb higher. I only want to run faster. I only want to go to more remote locations. Like, I had to actually, like, Google who in the world has mixed at this high of an elevation. You know, like I wanted to know because
did you find someone?
Yes.
Did you call him up?
No, well, I read he did a review like on his website or something of how the gear held up at those low temperatures or something. So it was like an article that I read, but it's certainly not common.
Oh my God.
But some of the shooters I've worked with have done Everest expeditions and you know, documented teams at, you know, Everest is 29,000 feet.
This is so crazy. I would never. I don't like hiking.
It's bananas where you can take a camera and a sound, digital recorder if you put your mind to it.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I think you may be the coolest girl I've ever met.
Julie, stop! I'm blushing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't thank you enough. Like, isn't that funny that I sent you an email like, oh, I think it would be cool if you would like more camera people or sound people.
I can't believe you said, I don't have anything to say. I can't do show.
Not me. I meant other people.
Come on, let that be a lesson to you.
Okay.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Other 50%, a herstory of Hollywood. I'm Julie Harris Walker. I'd like to thank Allie Boettger for sharing her story. And check out my Instagram account to see the pictures of Allie and her yellow cases and her working in the elements. And special thanks to Jay Rowe, Danny Rosner, and Allison McQuaid for the music. Please find us on your favorite podcast provider and leave a review. And of course, on our website, theother50%.com, all spelled out in letters, for added features, bios of our guests, and the merch. You can also follow us on all the social media platforms. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.